The team at The Grout Guy are leading experts in regrouting, waterproofing, and tiling services nationwide. Property managers find comfort in their 10-year waterproof warranty on all full shower regrouts. Visit thegroutguy.com.au to rejuvenate your property's tiles and grout now.
Today, we are going to be chatting to two people that actually aren't in real estate directly. So it's a little bit of a different podcast compared to our other conversations we have with property managers. So I'd like to welcome Aaron Florenca and Oliver Sheer from Be Challenged. Welcome, guys.
Hello, Ashley. How are you?
Good. Hi, Oliver.
Hey, Ashley. Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
So some of you guys might actually recognise Aaron Florenca from his work in real estate. So that's how we connected many years ago. And he is now in a really great business that I've just found out about called Be Challenged. And I understand it's an Australia-wide company. So Oliver, can you just sort of share a little bit about Be Challenged, the work that you guys are doing and how it benefits teams?
Yeah, in essence, Be Challenged is here to help people have better relationships. So the reason we get out of bed each day quite bouncy with a bounce in our step is because I think that hits home for everyone across life, not just work. There's different ways that we do help people have better relationships, but in essence, personal development and building high-performing teams is what we do.
And when you're talking about relationships, you're referring to, our work colleagues, our clients, our personal, or all of the above?
Yeah, all of the above. We're a national business. We work in the corporate sector, but we also work in the education sector. We dive into a number of different verticals, which are different in their own right, which is great for us to kind of cherry pick and cross blend into other verticals and bring lessons from the school sector as such into the corporate sector. But yeah, firstly, focusing on yourself from understanding self and others. To then focusing on the team, and that might be an intact team. It might be, just a general organisation team where you're more focused on culture and developing relationships cross-functionally.
Yeah. Do you think that there is an ideal number of team culture events that a business should undertake each year? Like, I know that's really sort of pinpointing it, but I think it's really good for others to hear what different companies are doing. Do you think like team events or team catch-ups should be done like weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly? Like, what are you seeing people doing?
It's definitely a case-by-case scenario, but what we would recommend, and more than welcome to jump online and download it free as a framework. We call it a connection plan. A lot of people might call it a people plan, a culture plan, the EVP. But really important for an organisation, doesn't matter whether you're a sporting organisation, a school, to have in place what we call a connection plan. And we would break down those meetings or those team time into 4 different areas. So there'd be meeting time, there'd be personal and team development. There would be 2 other areas that I can't think of right now, but it's about having a plan in place. To make that work, we need a foundation. We believe you need a foundation to benchmark yourself off and for everyone to have a common language. So where do we start when we're talking about relationships? How do I adjust, evolve, develop my relationships How do I adapt? Because they're different. And we use a tool called DISC as a personality tool.
Yeah.
There's loads out there, no doubt. Lots of your listeners would have done them before. Some people get overly excited by the questionnaire, and some can't wait for it to be over. But like Myers-Briggs and Colours and Insights, the reason we use DISC is it's simple.
Yeah.
And I think life's complicated enough as it is. We need things that are simple and that don't box us in.
Yeah. I love the term that you use, connection plan. I think that going into sort of, a new year, or you could start it straight away, but I think all businesses should use those words to sort of look at what they're doing in their team and what connection plan do they have, because we have got that hybrid office set up in real estate, like a lot of property management departments have that. And I have found personally, like I try to do something quarterly with our team, and I'll get into Aaron and get you to give, tell us a few examples of what you do in a minute. But I actually found it's quite hard to try and think of different fun quarterly events to do. So that's one thing that definitely stood out with you guys, because I've seen some of the events you do and they're absolutely fabulous. But I also have seen that, and a few mentions that definitely when my team are happy in their personal lives, they definitely perform better and have better relationships with their clients. And whenever they're very stressed personally with relationships, it definitely shows through in their emotional state when dealing with clients. So it's something that really we need to not ignore. And I find that sometimes the team events that we do and that you can do, it helps bring in that personal relationship just between the team members. So it's good for them to be able to get support from someone on their team if they're feeling like that. And I do remember there was, a time where one of my property managers was obviously very stressed about something, and it took another property manager to say, as soon as you get in, grab me in the car park, we're going to go have a coffee first and talk about it before you get into the office. So creating those internal relationships, I think, should be done, and it's easier to sort of help create them internally when you have outside of work connection plans, I guess, which I really, really enjoyed that the words of that.
Absolutely, and I probably should have answered your question. I didn't even answer the question.
I can't remember what the question was. What was it?
I'm not a politician, Ashley, but maybe I should go into it. In terms of an actual heartbeat, to answer your question on numbers of events, yeah. So that connection plan is your 12-month heartbeat, and then you want to kind of chunk down. So what are we going to do quarterly? What are we going to do monthly, and even weekly? And break that down into what might be virtual or what might be in person. But definitely something as an intact team, from a team building perspective and a personal development perspective, once a quarter is ideal. And then going down into that weekly or fortnightly heartbeat within the month, you'd want to be having one-on-ones. Then you'd be wanting to check in not only from a manager to a team member perspective, but the more we can empower our teams to be accountable themselves and really, work with each other and develop their own relationships to solve problems for our clients, the more rewarding it's going to be for them and the higher performing we can be as a team. So not everything is getting. Often our managers are actually a bit of a blockage in situations where we need to empower the team to have that freedom.
Yeah, I am probably a blockage in that part. I do not do one-on-ones.
No.
I can't stand them. I couldn't even tell you when I last did one. I don't even know if I've ever done one, to be honest. For me, and just to sort of share an example of what our team do so that others can sort of hear some different ideas, and then we'll get into you, Aaron. But we try to do a weekly lunch where we just get Uber Eats and we sort of sit around the table, and that's really a good opportunity for everyone just to talk about kids or grandchildren or problems or funny stories that have happened this week. So it's a very unconscious way of having that team meeting and that connection. So that actually works really well for us. I feel like if there was anything that I needed to address one-on-one, which is very, very rare, then I would probably just do that ad hoc as needed. And then we find that monthly comes around so quickly. So for us, it's sort of more around that 3-month mark. And that 3-month mark, we try to have some sort of activity, like we went bowling and to the pub one. I think for the last one, we've got a quiz night coming up, which supports a friend of mine who's actually just gone into politics. So it's to, you know, support her. So it's, you know, just random events like that we try to do. But it's actually quite hard to be original with it. So I think got the next couple booked, but then I sometimes just pass it on to one of my team and just say, hey, your turn to organise next social event, and they do that. But they are definitely social events as opposed to specific and guided, you know, structured team building, which they're not, which I know that you guys are definitely the experts in. And just to also highlight how we do it for other offices is that we use MyConnect. So MyConnect is a connection service for tenants. It's a free service which allows them to connect their electricity and their gas and their internet, etc. And what happens is a property manager receives commission when those connections are done, and you get a credit card. And we choose for our team to use that credit card as they wish. So it's not something that goes to the company. If you're a company business owner and you are taking those MyConnect connections, I'll say it right now, like, give it to the team. You know, you don't need to benefit from, you know, what's considered a small amount of money each month. Like, let the team have that. That's part of staff culture.
Yeah.
The girls can use it. We use it for the Uber Eats. We use it for going out. We use it for random stuff, and it's built up quite nicely. I think we've got about $6,000 on that card after us using it every single week. Like, we just can't get this card down. So it's just so easy. So this is a shout out to MyConnect. If you don't have that in place, zero. And when I say zero effort, I mean zero effort. For it in place, and it's just a really good way of using that money for your staff culture. So
I love you know what I love about these events that you've been doing, the trivia and whatever it might be, even the lunch. You so often find that you're really focused on your team, but the value add that comes that, and you kind of touch on this, that they're going to have a better relationship with their clients, or they might just think a little bit differently how they approach a client in the future. And I've got a client that their team starts every week with breakfast on Monday. And you got to find out what works for you. I think that's half the battle, just trying something. Don't be afraid to get it wrong. Like, just give something a go and ask your team to give you suggestions even. And if it doesn't work, then, you know, we try something else. And you know, lastly, I think you went to touch on it. We do provide that professional service, I suppose, that risk-free if you must. And really, our key focus and Aaron's key focus is to make sure our clients look like a superstar and are stress-free.
Yeah.
So we want to make it really hit the mark, but in this day and age as well, I think, you know, slowly gone are the days of just being able to go just to the pub. So many people are drinking less, and so many people are focused about their well-being. it's important, I think, as a team to define what well-being means to us as a team. You know, what does that mean to us? And so, yeah, making sure we are doing stuff that is inclusive or professionally run or whatever it might be.
Yeah, totally. I know that for me, I love my team trying new experiences. So when they haven't tried something like to give you an example, we've got our Christmas party coming up. I've been planning, and I have added on a caviar experience because it's not an experience that my team would have had or would necessarily value the money spending either. But it's
awesome.
like I haven't either. So I was like, I like just those types of things. When we took some team to Hobart a couple of months ago, and just the experience of going, for the first time, to the top of Mount Wellington and things like that. Like that really excites me. Like letting them experience things that they may not normally do. We will at some stage go to Six Heads, which is a really fancy steak restaurant in Perth. It's one of my favourite. And the steaks are, I think the one I normally get, not just for me, but it's $270 a steak. Again, it's not an experience that people would naturally have. And I love giving that opportunity to my team to one day say, hey, if we can get to this KPI, we're going to all go out for lunch or for dinner, and we're going to have a beautiful meal here, because it's just not something that they would do every day. I mean, it's not something I do every day either. But
it sounds like you do, Ashley.
It does. It does. I've done it twice, and one was because it just opened. The second one because it was so damn good, and it's just I love it. I love everything about that place.
Ashley Goodchild, caviar and steaks.
And
can you use the MyConnect card there, Ashley?
Yeah, I could use the MyConnect card. That's a very Aaron, and then that would get the balance down low, wouldn't it?
Get it down for you, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and I'm the least poshiest person, but it's funny, isn't it? It's one of those things that there was a funny meme going around that says something like, refuse to add $3 on that avocado at Zambrero's, but happy to pay $270 for a steak, or I refuse to pay $200 to get my hair done. I will always go get a $10 box dye, but then happy to spend money in
priorities.
Food's my thing. So
I hear you.
Now, Aaron, your turn to shine. I want you to tell us all about the different types of events that you and I have spoken about, just because they blew my mind. The uniqueness of it, and as soon as you had told me some of them, I was like, oh my God, I need to stop thinking and trying to go on Pinterest and Google, because I Google fun events in Perth for teams, and there is nothing that comes up that is remotely interesting. So over to you. Tell me a bit more about the events.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Inspection Express is no doubt the leader when it comes to streamlining property management tasks for landlords and property managers to save time and increase efficiency, particularly with their paperless inspection system. Their mission is to simplify the property management process, and now with their partnership with Tappy, there are some amazing new benefits to help deal with maintenance requests on site to further improve property managers' lives. Book in your demo with the team today.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you again for having me on the program. As you mentioned earlier, I was in the real estate industry. I think I exited about 2018, so I've had a various few roles since then, and becoming here at Big Challenge. So super excited to be on and have a quick discussion about what we can do. But yeah, look, I think the main thing that you've just touched on for us is how diverse Big Challenge is and how many offerings and options that we have. Because, like you said, you've Googled, what can we do in Perth, team activities or something like that, and you'll probably get axe throwing, you'll get lawn bowls, or you'll get a paint and sit, that kind of thing, where those things are great in essence, but what we can do, we can go to that, I guess, that next level. Most of our programs are outcome driven, where and I'll write that down on something we were doing this morning. What I mean by outcome driven is there's a reason you've come to us. There's something that you want to strengthen within a team. There's something you want to build on within a team, and we would I guess, come to you with a range of solutions that we would think would suit your team and your needs for the time of that event and outcome, and then we would provide you with some options. But as mentioned, we have a plethora of options. We've got over 100 different offerings that we can offer. And as Oggs likes to mention, from a spectrum of sort of 1 to 10, where 1 would be completely fun, let your hair down, you don't have to think about it much, fully inclusive, everyone has a laugh, up to a 10, which might be like a DISC profile analysis workshop, or how to have difficult conversations, 5 behaviors of a cohesive team. So there's a range of different solutions that we offer. But to give you an example of some of the things that we've been doing in Perth recently, we've been doing our we've been doing our Go Team, which is a GPS-based scavenger hunt around the Perth CBD, which is quite popular. We've been doing our Survivor. We've been doing Beat the Box, which is like a virtual type sort of escape room that we bring to the room. It goes really well in conferences, especially with leaders, and supporting collaboration, effective communication. So, like Oliver mentioned,
what I love about Beat the Box is we all go in with our egos and with that competitive mindset. And hey, I'm first to put my hand up there. And you don't realize it takes you a while, but you either all succeed or you all lose.
Correct.
That's a little bit that's like me at quiz nights. You go in there with a competitive, nature, and then you realize how dumb you are and really just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, you think you know all the answers and you really don't. You get a really random general knowledge question and you'll be like, oh my God, I should know this.
You do not want me on your team. I am terrible.
Yeah. What the Olympics has actually done recently for me is make me realize how bad I am with geography and flags. Especially I've done some general knowledge questions on flags recently and I have no idea.
And it's probably made you realize how good you are at breakdancing.
Yes, very good at breakdancing. That's definitely something I would stay away from as well. But yeah, look, like we said, we've got over 100 different program offerings, from fun up to being able to think a bit more, problem solving. All our programs are fully inclusive in terms of demographics and disabilities and everything like that. So we can accommodate that. And one thing I've just put down here is, if yourself as an individual, if you're happy in your role, you're more motivated. If you're more motivated, you're more productive. So that's one thing that I've found as a challenge in previous roles before Be Challenged, is being a remote worker. Sometimes you can feel undervalued. And when you feel undervalued, you're undermotivated, and you sort of, I don't know if you've heard of the term, that quiet quitting, where you just do the bare minimum just so you go under the radar and get your job and your role done right. So you get that paycheck. But moving into a role with Be Challenged, I've realized how passionate I am about what I do. I've got a serious why factor because I can see, what we are doing for teams and how we are helping strengthen team culture. We did a program, I won't say who it was for, a couple of weeks ago. Called our chain. No. Keep it under wraps. It was our chain reaction program, and what the chain reaction is, I think it's a Lou Daub machine, Ashley, and what that is obviously you start off with something small. It might be a marble hitting into dominoes, and it just obviously creating this massive, obscure structure to do a simple task. So this team, they started the structure with like a bowling ball, and then obviously it went around the room for, I think it was about 30, 40 people that we ran it for. But the initial start of that structure, it didn't go anywhere because their communication between areas and tables was quite poor at the start. Once they came together and communicated around the tables, they actually succeeded. And just seeing their mindset and the team, once they accomplished something, like they just went from kind of at the start all being a bit, in that ego orientated, no, my way will be my way or the highway, I'll get it done. But you actually needed to have a great relationship and be able to communicate well with other people in your team so that you all succeeded. So yeah, it's just one of those programs that we've got and offerings that we have that is just there to strengthen relationships.
And there was one that you told me about, you can correct me if I'm wrong with it, but it was actually like a toy building workshop, and which was sort of had more of a charitable feel to it. Are you guys linked with a certain charity, or sort of how, like, and do you have the events like that? Have I got that right?
You want to go through that one, Oliver?
Yeah, sure. We definitely, kind of links back. I was thinking while Aaron was talking, we often work just what we call a kickstart, which is just a one-off with a team. But in the ideal world, what gets us really turned on, what we love to do, is dive a bit deeper, link with themes or messaging or strategic direction of the business. And so if the business does have a theme, and past clients now come to us quite early before their conference or before they're delivering the next strategy, because we've got all these creative ideas and we've also got insights. We can help out with that. So if your theme is being more sustainable as a team, you want to double down on that and link it into your team activity. So therefore, it's not, most of the good stuff we do is simple. It's not brain surgery. I'm talking we as in people listening right now. It's just about being consistent and repetitive. So if you do have a theme around giving back and you want to build that into your culture, then we do have specific programs that give back. And our most popular at the moment is called Give Backpack. And the reason it's so popular is because you and your team see the immediate impact. So often we're giving to charity or we're doing things that go offshore or go to some conglomerate that we don't see the end result. Whereas with Give Backpack, we will find a charity that's local to you. And we have specific ones we work with all the time. Might be some Pats or, there's quite a few around your area. And then we purpose build the product. In the program, you get your team building and you give backpack at the same time. So your team needs to complete challenges to earn items, which then build a backpack. So, for example, if it's a men's shelter, there's going to be certain items in there, or if it's a women's shelter, there'll be different items. And so, we love to make sure in the give backpacks in the giving back space that the team are really are making an impact, an immediate impact.
I love that. I mean, first up, I was just going to say that what a great idea to have for teams and businesses to have a theme each year. Like, the theme might be consistency or the theme might be clarity. Like, I love that. What a great way to really bind the team together at the start of the year and say, this is how we're going to really live to that word. And then the other idea was just as you're talking, like, maybe, that you do have something where you've got consistency, charity, and you have that in your, in your office. Like, what a great idea to really forward think. And I think that's what I really, really love about you guys, is that it's really focusing on that planning of how are we going to create this culture? How are we going to plan it? How are we going to have an impact on, on charity, but also internally? And I don't think we plan it enough. And I'm the first to admit that I don't plan it. I'm very ad hoc. Like, I'm just like,
Ashley, you got to stop beating yourself up. Come on.
But I'm like, we probably are due to, go out this, next month, or like, I haven't planned it. I'm like, I'm a winger. Like, I wing everything. So I need to get better at planning. But I really, really love it. And I know that people will resonate with that, because like, there's probably I hope there's a lot of people like me out there that don't have that set plan. And I think it comes down to the size. I think there's businesses out there that might have 40 or 50 staff, and for them, they're probably maybe a little bit more structured. But I think it's really hard when you've got maybe just a team of 3 or 5, and then you build up to 10 or 15. And, we're at a team of 15 now, and we're at that stage where now I'm starting to think about it, but previous, you probably don't enough. And I think that we probably shouldn't underestimate those smaller groups as well. Or even better, maybe as a property manager or business owner, you've got a good relationship with a strata company or a sales department or referring partners or even another property management department. Why not together have 2 businesses that say, hey, do you guys want to be part of my connection plan for next year, and let's do some events together? Because yes, you're getting extra people in there. It makes it a bit more fun when you've got a group, and a really nice collaboration piece for businesses to do. So just throwing that out as an idea, I think that would work.
I love it.
Oh,
we could collaborate that. I think you're spot on, Ashley, because yes, the bigger businesses have structure, but I actually would argue that those businesses that might be 3, 5, 6, you've actually got the greatest opportunity, because you get to create it now, and there's no habits in place, and it's a lot harder to move a bigger boat. So you can put in some really cost-effective ways of working, and that's what we're here to help add value to the whole culture over the year, the yearly heartbeat. Now, that doesn't mean you're invoicing us for our services. You might do something with us, but then it's really about how you embed that, and you can do that yourself, and it's just being clear, and we can help and suggest those ways of working post-program or whatever that might be, to embed, for the long lasting. Hey, one of my favorite themes is high performing pit crew. Everyone loves a bit of Formula One, I think.
mm-hmm.
And another example of making that your theme. Oh no, that's what I was going. So our theme at the moment, and you'll see sporting teams actually do this really well with their themes. But our theme at the moment is the power of the orchestra, and so we have a song with that, which is Queen's "Don't Stop Us Now," or "Don't Stop Me Now," but we put us. So
Yeah.
it does add a link that and an anchor. We talk about anchors. What's your anchor as a team? And another great theme is the high performing pit crew, and so we've got a program called Flat Out F1. And that is where you build a life-size Formula One car out of cardboard and race it.
Oh, see, that's cool ideas.
It's a bit different. And
I know.
You imagine how many dads are taking selfies and showing the kids and go, you think you can build a billy cart?
And my last question for you guys, how are you doing a lot of this, and do you have programs available for including offshore? So having events with your offshore team, is there the ability to have something with them inclusive?
Yeah, absolutely. We do a lot of hybrid stuff. We do virtual stuff.
Cool.
We're also part of a co-op as such with 58 partners around the world. So B Challenge looks after Australia, but we do have a network that goes to 82 countries.
Amazing. I love everything about it. I'm really excited to get you guys in doing some stuff with us for next year, and planning, I think, is definitely and it's one of those things, you don't know what you don't know. And until Aaron reached out to me, I was like, oh my God, that's actually quite cool. And then listening to you guys on the podcast, just reiterates, you know what, I didn't even think about having a connection plan. I didn't think about having maybe a theme word to use for the year. And I actually didn't even think about potentially, joining forces with another real estate agency where I think it could complement, or maybe a strata manager in our sense. It's one of those things that it's just when you start listening to those conversations and talking about it, you get these, great ideas, and can hear about the great ideas. So it was really, really great to chat to you both and find out more about B Challenge. My I know I said my last question before, but just shuffle a little bit for me, Oliver. Just shuffle a little bit. I just want to see, you've got something on your back screen that says build your something. Build your
sorry.
Buzz.
Build
So that's
your
like
buzz.
create your energy.
Yeah.
Like we call it build our buzz. So, create your energy, create your passion, create your power, so yeah, that's, I suppose, a theme and a bit of a little sentence that we live and breathe by here at Be Challenged, because we want to obviously live by those words, but we want to be able to help teams create their own buzz and create their own energy and be passionate.
I think I'm going to use that for my for the podcast title. I love it. Build your buzz.
Yeah.
Build your buzz
Yeah,
with Aaron and Oliver.
Sounds great.
Perfect. So it's our tagline, and in a way just another way of saying culture or team. But yeah, better understanding of that.
Love it. And what's the best way to get in touch? So I know we've said that you guys are all over Australia. Best way to get in touch with you guys, would that just be through the website or through any social channels?
Yeah, definitely jump on LinkedIn and Instagram and drop into our DMs. I've always wanted to say that. Sorry. Probably best to hit the website. The website is your first port of call. Plenty of forms on there, and the team will jump back to you or contact Aaron directly at aaron@bechallenge.com.au.
Fantastic. So great chatting to you both and brainstorming some ideas. And I hope that more real estate agents get on board with definitely creating that plan for the next 12 months. I think it's awesome. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashley. Cheers.
Property Assist understand that business owners are rapidly expanding their rental portfolios and property managers simply can't handle everything on their own. Property Assist are now offering outsourcing in Western Australia, New South Wales, South Australia and Queensland, and can help your team with all their ingoing reports, outgoing final bond inspections, routine inspections, 360 tours, home opens and inventory reports. Find them on your socials.